we know that you were born magical. We know that you are intuitive, and we know that you are brimming with everyday enchantment. Here at the Sisters Enchanted, we believe in intention, we believe in intuition, and we believe in everyday magic. Welcome in to the Expedition to Soul podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Expedition to Soul podcast. My name is Anna. I'm the co-founder here at the Sisters Enchanted, and I am joined by Sarah Milne. You're here.
Oh, hello.
As per usual, as you know, Sarah is our program director and co-teacher in many of our programs, especially our Expedition Astrology program. And we're here with another week ahead astrology forecast. So this one is going to take us into the week of May 2nd. And Sarah, what do we have on deck for that week?
Well, the main thing is Venus enters Aries this week. We have like Venus, sort of planet of our desires. Remember, we always think about Venus as planet of love, but Venus is planet of desire. And of course, one of the biggest things we all desire is to love people and to be loved, which is why Venus really gets kind of like mainly kind of sort of narrowed down really to love, but it's also the planet of art and beauty and nature and peace. And like, I always think of Venus as really sort of beautiful green meadows and just lovely calm and things that inspire art and all that kind of thing, as well as love. So when Venus enters Aries, that kind of brings that fire into Venus's kind of earthy, kind of cool, chilled out vibe. So it's kind of like the heat there. So you might feel quite bold and innovative this week. Well, for the next few weeks, the next 3 or 4 weeks, when it comes to matters of the heart. So, you know, if there's that person who's been like, I want to say something, maybe this is the time. Also, Venus is kind of finances as well. So you might feel like bold with finances as well. And innovative around your finances, and also beauty and creativity and art, poetry, music, all these kind of things. It's all that innovative, getting started with new ideas and new things, and being bold and asserting yourself in those areas, which is kind of cool. Yeah. So my top 3 tips for this Venus in Aries season are: 1, assert your needs and your desires in love and beyond, and all that sort of Venus thing. So like, it might be that there's somebody new that like you're kind of like, oh, shall I? And then go for it. But also, if you're in an established relationship, or you're in established art collaborations, or you are, anything which involves that creativity, finances, and desires, assert your needs and your desires in those situations. I think it's a great time. Number 2 is to get started with a new artistic project. So really good time for that. And also a new start. My 3rd tip is start a new financial journey. So if there's something you want to do different with your finances, if you've got a business venture you've been toying with, or you want to take out a mortgage or a loan, or pay off a mortgage or a loan, or rent a house, or rent a room in your house to somebody, all these kind of different ways. And we know right now, I think all of us across the world right now are struggling with financial issues and rising prices and that kind of stuff. So this is a good time to think about, sort of be innovative about a new way of being financially secure as well.
I like it.
Yes.
I can't help but think about, which doesn't, this is a contrary thought to that, all of that, is that when you say like Venus and Aries, it reminds me of the story of Venus, Aphrodite, and Aries.
I just knew you were going to go there. Yeah, absolutely.
And how they have a romantic inkling towards one another. And we were actually just having a conversation in one of our co-witching sessions, because in the previous month of April, we are in like our Earth Witch phase, and we were talking about I think it was at the end of our Cosmic Witch unit when we were talking about kind of the expansiveness of like Jupiter, and when you can do something, like when things become too easy for you, that you can kind of get yourself in some trouble. And it was an Aries moon, so we were talking about Aries and Aphrodite, we were talking about the story about how Aphrodite's husband, Hephaestus, I always say his name probably wrong, so don't come at me, but Hephaestus, how he gets his little like net of truth and like catches them in his net during one of their affairs, and then pulls in all the other, not all of them, but some of the other pantheon of Olympias to like look, so they can all say like, look at Aphrodite and Aries, look what they did in their entanglement, and it gets Aries in a lot of trouble. But I also love the planet of Venus, and it is about going after what you want, and unapologetically going after what you want.
Absolutely.
Like, I want to go after this. Like my heart wants this, whether it be romantic, whether it not be romantic, but like, this is what my heart wants. And that even if everybody says like, you shouldn't do that, or that's not, the acceptable way to live your life, or this or that, that Venus and that energy is like, go after what you want unapologetically and live your life kind of, as Aphrodite Venus would. So let's see. Got into storytelling and didn't pull cards. Somebody asked recently on one of our podcasts, there was a comment saying, why 2 cards? And if they have any kind of meaning, like why I pick 2. And it's just because I want to pick 2. There's no reason. I'm just called to pick 2. It gives you a little bit more than 1. It gives you a little bit something more pointed than 3. So it's just what I felt called to do. So today we have the Way Home Tarot, and we have the 2 of Pentacles.
I like that.
Yeah, I love this deck of cards. When I was doing lots of readings, I used this card a lot for people.
Yeah, I like
the 5 of Swords, which kind of has this like daddy long leg.
That's a bit. I don't like spiders.
Well, it reminds me of this is awful, but growing up, I never did this, but I know people that did do this. When there would be like a daddy long leg, the legs would fall off easy, and kids would like pick on the poor daddy long leg to see like if it could still move, which is awful because like you're doing that for kind of like your own, like picking on the little guy because like you're being like curious, or you're trying to figure something out, or you're trying to see how much you can get away with. But it's actually not for the best interest of anybody. And that's like very 5 of Swords energy. Like, what are you doing and why are you doing it? Why are you thinking that this is the way to go? Yeah. And who are you serving? Like, who at the end of the day, usually in that card, somebody's like on the beach with their swords and they're looking pretty, confident. And there's people in the back, like picking up the swords, kind of being like, whose interests are you serving here? Like, who are you helping? And are you being productive in this area? And then we have the 2 of Pentacles, which is this snake imagery and this infinity symbol with these little baby eggs, snakes hatching. And I think it's really reminding us to kind of this week to stay nurturing and keep things in balance for the better of things, and try not to step out of your lane. This is a stay in your lane, I feel like reading. Like, stay doing the things that like are close to home, that you can keep in balance, that you can keep in nurturing, and then stay in your lane, which I think is a little bit of a call out to the story that I just told, I'm sure. And that, yes, Venus and Aries, say something that you've never said before. Do something that you've never done before. Start a new project. Do these great things, but make sure that you're not mirroring that Aries Aphrodite story, and you're doing something that impacts people around you in a way that's unproductive. So just because your heart says like, go do this, make sure that you're not impacting people around you in a negative way. So like, be empowered to do things that you want to do, but make sure that like you're doing them for yourself and not the wrong reasons, and that there's not a domino effect coming at you from behind. There's still things that you have to keep in balance. There are still things that are counting on you to like keep it together, to keep moving forward, and to keep that in mind, that like there's not a trickle down effect as you go after what your heart wants. sometimes there is, but make sure you're not like just hurting a situation for the sake of hurting a situation. If you have to leave your job because it's toxic and that's a trickle down effect because you're the closing manager, well, if it's toxic and you have to leave, you're not actually emotionally or physically hurting the people around you. You're making people frustrated that they don't have a closer anymore. But if you're actually going to impact somebody on a level that's more personal, maybe just.
Yeah, I like that. I really like that. And when we're talking about asserting your needs and desires, like especially in relationships, yes, do it in a nurturing way, in a gentle way, in a way that kind of doesn't have that. Because otherwise you could find, you could end up with, you've got like Venus and Mars energy here. If you assert your needs and desires in that sort of Mars type anger and frustration, that sort of shadow of Aries, then you might end up kind of like not getting what you hoped from the situation.
Yeah.
That's something very different.
Yeah. And it's important to remember too that Aphrodite Venus is a mom too, and a dedicated nurturer, and focused on making sure that she's got focus where she needs focus, nurtures where she needs to nurture, and then obviously we shouldn't take moral stories from mythology, especially Greek mythology, but you get it. We all act a little bit, questionably. So yes, so Venus and Mars, go do some new things. Say what you mean. Just make sure that you're not doing it without thinking of other people, and that you're not just, like who's good, like, are you serving? Don't just, I forgot what words I was going to use for the 5 of Swords. So we'll just leave it at that.
I love it.
Yeah. All right. So Sarah, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
And we're kicking off. This is our first week of Holistic Witchery this week.
Yep.
And we kick off today, or May. Yeah, well, not today. May 2nd.
On Monday.
The day that this podcast starts being good for, the week of that. But we do start on Monday. And if you missed this enrollment period, you could probably shoot us an email at magic@thesistersenchanted.com and get in on the fun right before we really dive in. We're super excited to get started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We hope you have a really great week, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.